when you are trying to influence somebody, you're either trying to sell them something, ultimately, so it's a sales skill, or you're trying to give them a reason, okay? So you need to give them a compelling reason why, and I've got a few here for you to think about. So if you're trying to influence somebody, it could be influencing your children to make sure they eat their breakfast. It could be influencing one of your customers to pay your contract rate or day rate or whatever it is, yeah? Whatever it may be. It could be whatever, influencing, okay? You need to give somebody a compelling reason. Many studies over the years have shown, okay, that people, I know this is a no-brainer, but people are more easily influenced if you can give them a compelling reason why, okay? So think about COVID, right? Think about when we went into lockdown, okay? Not everybody was happy about it. In fact, not a lot of people were happy about it, but the majority of people did it, okay? And the reason they did it was because the compelling reason was, yeah, you stay at home, save lives, protect the NHS, okay? 3 very straightforward reasons for us to do it. And everybody else had to do it as well. So there's the bigger compelling reason for us to do it, okay? So we all did it, we all got through it, yeah, and we moved on. Now, we are seeing some people revolting against what the current lockdown measures. So if anybody saw the news at the weekend, with all those people in Liverpool and Manchester at 10 o'clock at night, singing and stuff because they'd gone to the off licence and got a load of booze and decided just to stay outside when all the pubs and clubs closed at 10 o'clock. The reason for 10 o'clock, the reason for that being people closing at 10 o'clock hasn't really been explained. There is no major compelling reason. There are some common sense reasons, yeah? People stay longer, drink more, social distancing goes out the window, and so on and so on and so on. But you have people, you know, I've even seen 1 or 2 comedians making statements this week saying it's okay to drink at 1 minute to 10, but you can't drink at 1 minute past 10, yeah? Also, there are other areas going into business. People from Manchester and Liverpool are revolting. They are not that I don't mean revolting that way, of course. Maybe revolting wasn't the right word, yeah? What's the right word? I don't even know what the right word is. Challenging, let's go with challenging rather than revolting, should we, yeah? Against it. The point that I'm making is that, you know, for instance, you know, in Scotland, you know, you people are doing X, Y, and Z. In England, people are doing X, Y, and Z. In some areas, you can't go into other people's houses. In other areas, you can. Everybody has to finish at 10 o'clock serving alcohol, apart from Parliament's Bar, by the way. I don't know if anybody saw that. I thought that was a really interesting one. They changed that sharpish, didn't they, yesterday when it came out. Parliament's Bar was going to be serving after 10 because it was classed as a work canteen. And obviously the media got hold of that, and you can imagine the challenge people had on that, and they very quickly changed it so no alcohol would be served after 10 o'clock there. So the point I'm making is that the reason now for some people isn't as big as when we went into lockdown before, okay? The compelling reason to actually follow these rules isn't as big as it was before. Now, if you're sensible, you think, hang on a minute, do you know what? There was one student that I saw interviewed actually yesterday that had really sensible head on her shoulders. They were like, you know, what do you think about, you know, you can't stay in a pub after 10 and all that? And she went, well, do you know what? People are dying, so missing a few nights in the pub's not going to hurt, is it? Hallelujah, common sense applies, okay? However, there are some people that don't have a compelling reason anymore to follow the rules, which is why they're now having to increase enforcement on the back of it. Whereas when we went into lockdown, the reason was bigger, the sal was bigger to us than it is now, which is why we're struggling with it, which is why some people don't care, some people are going out and doing whatever they want at the moment, okay? Until, of course, it gets just as bad again, and then we have to go into a second bloody lockdown, and guess what? The compelling reason will increase again for some people. So even the government are struggling to influence people during this situation, Okay, so this is how challenging influence can be when it comes to it. So we've got to give people a compelling reason why. Okay, we've got to sell the benefits and we've got to sell the features. Now, if you saw Boris's update, he sold the benefits and he sold the features, but he sold them of keeping people alive. So that which you might think is a big enough benefit and feature, but to some people obviously not. So he said, you know, if we close the pubs at 10, if we do all of these things, less people will get COVID, less people will be admitted to hospital, and less people will die. Happy days, tick a box. For a lot of us, that's a big enough reason. But for some people, the reason around a 10 o'clock close at night time isn't big enough. And there was no explanation of the science behind why 10 o'clock is the cut-off time. Why not 9 o'clock? Why not 11 o'clock? Why is that the cut-off time? And there was no benefits and no reason specifically sold about that point. Am I saying it's right? No, I'm not in an instance, because to be honest, if you've got a bit of common sense, I think you kind of go, do you know what, I'm not sure I want to be out in a crowd of people anyway at the moment with what's going on. Yeah? However, the fact that those two things were not sold, the government have struggled to influence people. And now what they'll do is they'll influence people in a different way by making fines more, by getting the police to arrest people and bringing the army in as backup. Because that's just another form of influence, isn't it, at the end of the day, yeah? So, we want features, we want benefits, we need to understand the wants and needs of the other party. Okay? So when you're influencing somebody, if you can A, have a benefit or a feature, okay? So on our, on my literature for solution focused, we have benefits, features, and client wants, if you like, and it's one of the first three things that we show to people, so we can show them the benefit, the features, and then we try and understand what the client wants. What is it you need? What is it you want? And there is a slight difference between wants and needs. Okay, needs are quite immediate things. Wants are nice to haves a lot of the time going forward. But if you understand that, you can then make sure you've got a reason, or you can sell something to cover. And when I say sell, it could even be an opinion. Doesn't really matter. Product, widget, an opinion. You can sell something that makes sure that it covers their needs and their wants going forward. Okay, so quite a little bit, a big section there on making sure you've got a compelling reason why, or something that you're trying to sell that will cover their wants and needs. That's going to make you more effective at influencing.